country is something else. They just burnt our votes. They just burnt our votes. They burnt our votes. Can't you see? They just burnt our votes. They just burnt our votes.
An gama ta APC tun da ka sa yau shama kawai sa APC kai da zuli da hali na kamar
This is a breaking news alert.
I'm issuing an alert right now. This is not something that I do often on this website, but it's time that we assemble Donald Trump's prayer warriors yet again to fight off Satan's attacks on him. And I'm asking you to join me and them right now in this simple prayer of support for our president in this absolute time of attack. The man is under attack. And like I said, this is not something that I do regularly on this channel, but I really felt led to do so today after this just abhorrent week of attacks. So if you're a prayerful person, I'm going to ask you to please join me in this prayer and then share this with somebody who you know will take and take part in this prayer with you. All right? So bow your heads and close your eyes, and let's take a moment and say this prayer. Heavenly Father, your servant, our President, Donald J. Trump, he's under attack like we've never seen before. And Lord, today I come before you to ask that the armies of heaven, that you dispatch them to do battle against the demons who are trying to destroy your servant, our President, Donald J. Trump. Lord, it says in your word that where 2 or 3 are gathered in your name and pray according to your will, it will be done. And today I am joined by thousands who are praying this prayer. We ask that you pour out your Spirit upon this nation and heal this land so that our president can do the work that we asked him to do. Lord, he is under attack at every single turn. The Russian investigation, accusations of racism. But we know that you called him forward for such a time as this. He's not a perfect man. None of us are. We are all sinners. I'm a sinner. But it is through your grace and mercy and work on the cross that gives us salvation from our carnal nature. Lord, I'm calling down the blood of Jesus to cover our president and all who are fighting with him. No weapon formed against him shall prosper. The fiery darts of the enemy will crumble at his feet. Lord, you know this, that those who would work to destroy this nation, the globalists, the socialists, the communists, and the liberals, they have mounted a force to take him down so that Satan's agenda for this country and the world would be complete. Lord, America is the last beacon of hope in the world. The devil wants to destroy it and bring it under his reign, subject to the global order, so that his son, the Antichrist, may rise up and reveal himself and enslave the world. Lord, I know that it is written that these days will arrive, and there's nothing we can do to prevent the written word of your prophecies. But Lord, we ask that you extend the grace period so that more souls may be won for heaven, before the day of judgment arrives. Lord, our hearts cry out in your name. Please hear our prayer and strike down our foes so that love will prevail again in this land. Strike down the agents of Satan who have corrupted the hearts of our enemy. Soften them, Lord. Soften their hearts and open their eyes to your plan for this nation that our President, Donald J. Trump, is working to fulfill. Lord, I pray this in your name. I pray this in the name of Yeshua, the Messiah, who reigns forever and ever. Amen. Now, if you prayed that prayer with me, please send this to 3 people who you know will say this prayer with you. And let's get a massive, unbroken prayer chain going to fight this relentless assault on our president. There's nothing more we can do than pray and pray and pray. I believe wholly in the power of prayer. I personally have been healed, physically healed, by prayer. So I know that it's possible. I know that it says in His word, where 2 or 3 are gathered, that the Lord is there among them, and He will grant, according to His will, the request of that prayer. And I'm just asking you now, do your part. Do your part. Our president is under the worst assault we have ever seen. This is the battle. The campaign, he was under assault. The early days of the presidency is under assault. The presidency is still in its infancy, and they're trying everything they can to chip and chip and chip and chip away. People that I know who supported him are starting to believe the lies that they're seeing pushed upon them by the media. This is what the answer is now. We need all Trump prayer warriors to come to the aid of our president right now. Forward this video, put it in email, send it over and over and over again. Let's get this thing up to 1 million views. I know we can do it. We've done it before. I'm counting on you. Say this prayer and hit forward. I love you guys. Leave your comments below after you've said the prayer. And I'll see you soon. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi.
Badass shirt now available. Link in the description.
You possess the power to impact the global narrative. Please share this report, and to get more videos like this, become a Next News subscriber by clicking the link below. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.
Yes, my people, you have to look very careful to identify this woman they called INEC official. I believe with this video, the INEC themselves should be able to identify this woman and bring her to book. Otherwise, we have to see it as conspiracy. Otherwise, we have to see this election that it has been manipulated. As you can see, this woman, they say she's INEC official, completing hundreds of ballot paper to enable a particular party to win in that region, if not all the polling whatever station. So please let justice be done. Keep on sharing this video. Keep on sharing it. And the woman by her side, if this very person is being arrested, we also need that woman by her side, because the woman know actually what her colleagues was doing. Meanwhile, she must have done her own as well. She was looking out for this woman completing hundreds of ballot paper while she was peeping to see if any other person is coming to join them. And there are so many there. So if this woman can be apprehended, every other staff officials that are present in that room should be apprehended as well. As you can see, we have more than 3 staffs there already, the one I can see through this video. So we are crying of free and fair election. The thing is that Nigeria system do work, but we don't want it to work to enable us this cheating, this manipulation. If it's advanced country, although we are advanced, but we don't want to be advanced. Election is not done this way. Gone are the days. The reason why Nigeria want to remain in this standard is because of this manipulation. But meanwhile, let's make this woman a scapegoat. Thereafter, she may confess. Not me, she will confess. The person responsible for this. The person that settled them to do this. She's even bringing out more. And this was a hidden coverage. Who know what she must have done and what she's still doing after this video? I believe it's very obvious. Her face is seen here. So let the INEC official, we are going to take it up with the INEC official, the chairman, you know, as human rights defender and access to justice. We are not going to stop here. This video is going to be used as an evidence. This is our evidence. Whether old video or new video, what we are seeing here so far, we are demanding for justice. So she will be in position to explain when, if it's 2005 or 2002 or 1998 or 99. Nigeria, where are we going? Already 24 hours now. We got no results. We don't have no result of who the next president is, because there is going to be a manipulation before announcing the results. We are just queuing up to be sweating, to be humiliated, to be harassed, to be embarrassed, because we wanted to exercise our vote to choose the person of our choice, but it's never done in Nigeria. We are just there to exercise. We are not the one making it happening. Our vote is never counted. By the special grace of God, we are still expecting to see Messiah of our time. Who knows when and where? Please keep on sharing this video until something is being done, and it has to be done publicly. All right, have a nice rainy Sunday from Lagos. One love from Lagos, Nigeria, West Africa.
the system of this. The system of this. And they're supposed to bring the 20 million.
But they say they will bring the balance before we finish.
Now, what's in there?
Before, if they don't bring the balance, you think say no go cash.
Can I talk that?
No cash now.
You can't catch up.
But that will not chief of staff. That will not chief of staff, Martin. We will try.
You don't say,
The money, now governor,
go and send them the cost.
so we need to do everything for that.
All the idea for how to correct. And they are because they put money in the cost.
You don't see that one where we complain, where they carry go Bekwara now. And Obodo. Now that one be their own target.
Yes, you know, say this man pretend.
You don't see the APC guy forgive them some fight.
I want to
The guy no pay second now.
He didn't know no man was to say the model complete.
Governor,
And he for be on board.
Governor say no be inconsistency, you for allow and wait.
You know, see, I hate when a governor get senatorial ambition.
Yeah, that's why
I won't carry give also.
Rosoko receive the senatorial position for him now. Hello, sir.
Maybe the balance no bring issue here.
no, you could bring the balance.
Can I tackle? I just come here now. We don't bring 10,000, we don't carry to the choir. 10,000, we don't carry the deal to now. But we been in our 20 million, we agree now. Now 6 million, we carry from here.
Boy, they don't suffer. No, they do quick.
You know, people go don't do like that, carry go. We don't carry go. If I do no see that balance, the thing go cash.
The peace don't suffer.
We need to do that kind of job. You know, say we need to do that kind of job. Okay.
You know, say
Even chief of staff, we say that 20 million is okay. And Kenneth Dakla come carry 6 million come. Now we don't print 8,400 votes for PDP. For the quarter we don't print. For the quarter we don't print 16,906 votes. For president we don't print 29,000 votes. For senate we don't print 32,000 votes.
boy, no be smart thing.
So they need the balance. Now if they don't carry the balance, this thing will cast. You say they don't carry that guy tight. Inside pass the governor. Just like the governor will carry government money, the state money, they carry it to do this nonsense.
Oh boy, you dey receive call so do this thing quick, make we come there, come give us the money. No be the.
No one make it the great governor for consistency. That is why we do all this thing. So we do this thing.
I want to take CS million.
I go settle this guy now. We employ. Then they my neck.
Tell am make come now. Tell am make come now.
They my neck. They my neck. Say my bring the money now before you cash your big boy. Now show na dey talk. All politicians dey get you free man. No, don't worry. We don't print 22,000 for senate. Don't print 29,000 for president. We don't print Bekwara. We don't print 16,906 for House of Rep. For Budu. We don't print 28,400 for all the position wey dey. Now you want to delay us now. You know, say we will cast time with you.
We do that job like that.
That kind of job. I want to the balance now before everything complete.
No, say this money wey you carry come, the money never complete.
Now the 20 million be ginger.
This one wey you come bring 6 million too. What time you share am?
Because me, they calculate 5 million.
Guys, on a short try to talk to them and see the.
Sorry, I'm there. Tell them me.
You for not dey make that call again. Make you come give us that money here. No, they do this.
When they do work, if they come. When they do work, if they
I don't
come.
want to do that kind of thing. Problem will come.
Okay, sir.
I say APC they don't suffer. Hi.
Now the House of Reps have be their own target.
It's just they push this money give Kellen Takela. You know say they won't use them, he won't use us. Now wetin you want to do that? Because you know what to do.
No say
No dey possible. This one what we do not be small risk o. If you come kill us here now, carry this money because no say they as they slow to bring our money so. You don't finish that, you will come pack the money too. Make bring the money. No, we don't say we don't finish our job. Who fit do that? Who fit do this kind of business? If we die now, I come, they go
No say we go cash now. They never know us. You know say here.
when I do it quick, when I do it quick.
But na chief of staff dey try o.
Chief of staff dey try. You know say na governor dey
But maybe they arrange the
na
result.
governor dey give am all those money.
Maybe they
E
arrange.
be like that governor sef get interest o.
How you no get interest? Say no say all those people dey under him. That's why they put money dey come so. No dey do anyhow. You know say that governor so na PDP person.
This is Bekwara.
The one wicked APC.
This one is Obudu.
The way they forward, no, we do normal voting.
This is for Bekwara.
Man, I do the quick. Man, I do quick. Going house. Oh, cool down, that money go buy. These are the big things. That's it, they happen. If not, they can't handle this business will not come up. Not saying to us everywhere.
May no fuck up with the balance.
No, we don't go for balance. That's why they think that they holla, they give money. All these things they do now. That was our turn damage. Money and the flesh.
We go pen this time red.
So, money don't enter. For where I just look for Lagos motor cheap. Ah, see, look motor cheap where.
See the one who don't complain.
They do have the arrangement now. The arrangement. No, put it together. No, say we don't have to see it.
APC don't.
That's why when they go reach for office, there nothing concerned them again because of money. When they can't spend, they spend money.
They just carry themselves come. Go and spend money.
They spend money.
You don't know say we do this to go down here before.
No, say they don't do. We get money. That's why they spend them anyhow. Maybe they send the office.
They get hope say na Buhari. Who be Buhari?
Buhari.
Buhari don't make us stop. Yeah, we stop ourselves say Buhari. Make we make us dey stop am now.
That's why all these people they do fast. Because na people wey don body.
People wey dey share dollars na we dey follow.
So that this our country dey better. Boy, I tell you say this time around money go yapa. See the come back wey dey give us.
But may they bring the balance.
No, I say come down. Why they worry yourself?
You dey worry yourself. You say we be small for this kind of people. We be small children for this kind of
People like them connect, so I no too trust them.
So trust me.
How you know say na una people, na me I
You
no
know
trust
they
them.
fuck up. You know say na him doing this business. You know they fuck up.
You know say me I no dey for me, I don't know.
You to know our the level where we don operate reach now.
How much wey annex won't pay me for the
They do all this arrangement. This of them even they give APC. They know they give them. You understand?
Now the House of Rep, they are target here when me are they see. They think dependent.
We don't do to plenty. What are they doing? Quick.
If we go call them, we call them again. That
Why
balance.
we go bring the balance? I tell you say go bring the
Yeah,
balance.
they think how we want to take share that money if you know it's 20 million. Need to calm it down.
No, okay, go bring the balance. What is system wey don bring? System very soon I go bring the money.
You know say na this 6 million for this fighter.
Because this one too small.
Madam, please, can you present your result to us?
Ikwere local government had no result because collation was not done. There was no collation in Ikwere local government.
No collation because, no result because collation was not done in the Ikwere local government area. Any reason for that?
Yes. The collation officers were not allowed by military men to go to their various local boards to do their collation, and the commissioner agreed that we should do the collation at the local government INEC office at Ikwere. And we sent messages to all our POs that they should report to INEC office with their results. And as they were coming in, one after the other, the collation officers were asked to identify their POs and do their collation because they've already signed and received the result sheets for the various elections. And at about 6:45, it started raining. So the process was halted. And after that, within 45 minutes, a few minutes between 8 and 7, the military invaded INEC office Ikwe at Isiokpo and worked out every ad hoc staff that were there to present their results to their collation officers. And in the process, you can go there and see the evidence still there. We took the recordings of where the things, all the things that were littered all over the office. And materials for elections, rain scattered everything. So at the end of the day, no collation was carried out. And the results signed, the results of the collation officers issued to them for collation, I retrieved and returned back to my state office. Thank you. My name is Emawonya Ifeturi Mary.
So based on that now, we declare that inconclusive.
No collation was carried out in Ikwere local government. Emawonya Ifeturi Mary. Thank God. Thank you.
Well done. Can we? What are we saying?
Success. Are you alright? What's the problem?
My mom is in hospital. My dad is in police station.
Hey, yeah, sorry. Poor girl, sorry. Is there anywhere I can help?
I want to go home.
You want to go home? Okay, you can go, I permit you. Pick your bag. Wait, let me help you. You can go, eh? You're permitted to go home. You have my permission. Make sure you come back when you're alright too. Poor girl. Chai.
Auntie.
Yes?
Where is Success going to?
She's going home. I gave her permission.
Why?
Her mom is in the hospital and her dad is in police station.
Her dad is a policeman and her mom is a nurse. Where are they supposed to be?
Success. Hey! Success! Success!
I'm not hearing you.
Nobody can hear me. Come back here.
Permission is permission. I'm going home.
Hey, I will lose my job.
The journey towards unveiling a president-elect for Nigeria has moved a step further as INEC today began announcing results of the presidential elections from its collation center in Abuja. There is anxiety in the land over who leads Nigeria in the next 4 years, but from the results released by the Independent National Electoral Commission, so far over 10 states and the FCT have been returned, and the two major political parties are featuring prominently on the released results. The chairman of the commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, is promising to call for the remaining results as soon as they arrive. A look at your screen, you see the results released so far by INEC on the presidential election. Ekiti State with the APC polling 219,231 votes as against the PDP's 152,032 votes. In Osun State, the APC polled 347,634 votes as against the PDP's 337,377. In the FCT, the APC polled 152,224 votes against the PDP's 259,997. In Kwara State, the APC polled 308,984 votes as against the PDP's 138,184 votes. In Nasarawa State, the APC polled 289,903 votes, as against the PDP's 283,847 votes. In Kogi State, the APC polled 285,894 votes, as against the PDP's 218,207 votes. In Gombe State, the APC polled 402,961 votes, as against 138,484 votes recorded by the PDP. In Ondo State, the APC polled 241,769 votes, as against the PDP's 275,901 votes. And for the National Assembly, who occupies the 360 seats in the House of Representatives and the 196 in the upper chamber, the Senate, so far some sitting governors have gotten the nod of the people to represent them. Some of the governors are: in Imo, Rogers Okorocha of the APC, who polled 97,762 votes to defeat his closest rival, Honorable Jones Onyerere of the PDP, who polled 63,177 votes. In Ogun Central, the incumbent governor, Bikule Amosu, polled 88,110 votes to defeat Solomon Sanyolu of the PDP, who polled 33,276 votes. In Gombe Central, former Governor Mohammed Danjuma Goje won his seat at the Senate with 110,116 votes, defeating the PDP's Abubakar Nasiru Nono, who polled 39,760 votes. The governor of Oyo State was not so lucky, as the governor, Abiola Ajimobi of the APC, was defeated in Oyo South Senatorial District by the PDP's Kola Balogun. And those are some of the highlights. The full results of the Presidential and National Assembly are being scrolled at the bottom of your screen, and we'll have updates on that. As you already know, results for the presidential elections are already being announced by INEC. So far, more than 10 states and the FCT have been returned. Here's a report now on those states. That report in a moment. Meanwhile, across Nigeria, there are some newcomers into the National Assembly. And before the results were announced in some states, there were a few protests, like in Bayelsa State and in Anambra State. Business mogul Ifeanyi Ubah caused an upset by beating two brothers, Chris Ubah of APGA and incumbent Senator Andy Ubah of the PDP.
Of Nigeria's bicameral legislature, known as the National Assembly. The Senate is made up of 109 members, and 360 members form the House of Representatives. So, every 4 years, Nigerians set out to the polls to decide who represent them in the legislature. After the recently concluded National Assembly elections, we're seeing some major upsets and some comebacks. From the results declared by INEC, in Anambra State, business mogul Ifeanyi Ubah of the YPP caused an upset by beating two brothers, Chris Ubah of the PDP and incumbent Senator Andy Ubah of the APC, to represent Anambra South in the Senate. In Abia State, former Governor Orji Uzor Kalu defeated Senator Mao Onwabunwa to represent Abia North Senatorial District. In Ogun State, INEC declared Governor Ibikule Amosun winner of Ogun Central Senatorial seat, having defeated Solomon Sanyolu of the PDP.
Without sounding immodest, or maybe we are just blowing our trumpet, they know what we did, what I did when they gave me the opportunity to serve them.
In Kwara State, Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki of the PDP lost his seat to Dr. Ibrahim Oloriegbe of the APC, another major upset. In Kogi State, Senator Dino Melaye of the PDP beat Senator Smart Adeyemi for the second time to represent Kogi West Senatorial District. In Cross River State, Senator Rose Oko will represent Cross River North, having been declared winner, while Senator Gershom Bassey has been re-elected to represent Cross River South.
It's an endorsement of what the PDP has done in this state over the past 18 years.
In Bayelsa State, the People's Democratic Party has condemned what it called a purported release of results by officials of INEC in Nembe, Basambri, and Southern Ijaw Council area in the Saturday's presidential and National Assembly elections. They call on INEC to conduct a rerun in 7 wards. As more results are expected for the National Assembly elections, constituents expect that beyond celebration of victory at the polls for the incoming 9th Assembly, these lawmakers should truly reflect their responsibilities of lawmaking, quality representation, and efficient oversight function.
Let's give that state a few minutes.
And in Rivers State, politicians engaged in shouting bouts at the Collation Center as they tried to push forward their positions. Our correspondents reported long hours were spent at collation centers before results of the National Assembly contestants were announced. Emmanuel Leray reports.
Shared drama as collation of results of Rivers State elections continue in the different collation centers, including the State Collation Center, as state party agents quarrel over some results of some local government areas in the state. At the Collation Center of Rivers East Senatorial District, there is some unrest as electoral officers of Ikwere and Emoa local government areas declare no result.
At about 6:45, it started raining. So the process was halted, and after that, within 45 minutes, that's a few minutes between 8 and 7, the military invaded INEC office Ikwe at Isiokpo and walked out every ad hoc staff that were there to present their results to their collation officers. And in the process, you can go there and see the evidence still there. We took the recordings of where the things, all the things have been littered all over the office. And materials for elections, rain scattered everything.
I'm the electoral officer for Emoha. As I speak, I do not have any result to present because collation did not take place in my local government. And this was due to the sporadic gun shooting that disrupted the process at the point of collation.
She had been procured to come here. Collation officers of the opposition party in the state are not pleased. Security agents had to weigh in at some point. At the State Collation Center, there's even more drama, as the returning officer and the electoral officer of Emoa local government area disagree over the results.
And I've stated here clearly that since Saturday of 20th, I've not seen this young man to this moment. I am even under threat. I have just reported to my rec.
I'm not meeting him for, we have met before, but I was handed over the results from the words, and I did accordingly.
For the integrity of this process, let us know how they reconcile. This man came and said there was no recording, and he's calling a result. My friend, stop.
And then it gets worse when both men return after some form of reconciliation to present the results. The PDP and other parties returning collation officers query what has changed. It seems the last has not been heard on the matter, as INEC reels out more presidential and National Assembly elections results in this state. Emmanuel Leray, Channels Television News.
There was also some drama in Imo State after results of the National Assembly were announced. Imo State Governor Rochester Okorocha was declared winner, but candidates from the other political parties rejected the result insisting the election was marred with irregularities and alleged widespread violence.
After casting their votes last Saturday during the presidential and National Assembly elections, voters from Imo West Senatorial District in Imo State had to wait 48 hours to get the result of the winner of the elections. After the final collation of the results from the senatorial district, the returning officer decided to announce the results after a lot of squabbles.
I've declared this thing before under duress. I'm still under duress declaring this one. That Okorocha Etelbat Anayo Rochas of APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared the winner and returned elected.
After the declaration, the atmosphere became chaotic due to altercations between party supporters, security operatives, and the INEC officials.
No, the result sheet form you saw is the declarative result.
Listen to me, please. Can you get this in?
However, some party supporters took to the streets to celebrate the victory of the APC candidate, Governor Rochas Okorocha. Reactions have continued to trail the result of the election, as the candidate of the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Grand Alliance have both rejected the result of the election.
Deeply mutilated, some of them written in a manner that is not consistent with electoral provision. And the return officer rejected those results. Then they now held him hostage.
So I'm calling the attention of the international community, the Nigerian government, the security agencies, to come to the rescue of Professor Ibaochi, the senatorial returning officer for Imo West Senatorial District, for the last election which was held on 23rd of February.
While speaking to newsmen on his success at the polls, the Imo State governor reacted to the statement credited to the returning officer.
So what is the contest? Am I supposed to contest for senator or for Luzon, for what, for God's sake? That guy, something's wrong with him and he's playing a script. And that's why I must ask the INEC rec here to quickly correct some of these abnormalities. And may they never try to take this to the next election, because we shall resist them by any means possible. God, this is enough is enough.
With the controversy trailing the result of the election, the next battleground might be the Election Petition Tribunal. But for now, according to the returning officer, the APC candidate remains the winner of the election.
Madam President, I just listened to the senior senator from New York, my friend from the gym, and the minority leader deliver some summaries of what he says is in the bill before us. And he implored this body, he implored people watching on C-SPAN to read the bill, and they would find that all these terrible things are in the bill. I see that the minority leader has to leave the floor now, but humbly, I would urge him to come back and show us where any of what he just said is in this bill. What he said wasn't true. I rise today for a simple purpose, Madam President. I want to ask each and every one of my colleagues whether or not we're okay with infanticide. This language is blunt. I recognize that, and it's too blunt for many people in this body, but frankly, that is what we're talking about here today. Infanticide is what the Abortion Survivors Born Alive, Abortion Survivors Protection Act is actually about. Are we a country that protects babies that are alive, born outside the womb after having survived a botched abortion? That is what this is about. Are we a country that says it's okay to actively allow that baby to die, which is the current position of federal law? That's the question before us, plain and simple. Here are the facts. We know that some babies, especially late in gestation, survive attempted abortions. We know, too, that some of these babies are left to die. No federal protections exist today to shield them from this ugly fate. And only some states have protections on their books. And we've seen in our national discourse over the last month and a half, a few states moving in different ways, but to undo protections that some of these babies have had at the state level. The Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act is trying to right this obvious wrong. The bill's terms are simple. A child born alive during a botched abortion would be given the same level of care that would be provided to any other baby born at that same gestational stage. That's it. This bill isn't about abortion. I'm pro-life. I'm unapologetically pro-life, but this bill is not actually about anything that limits abortion. This bill doesn't have anything to do with Roe v. Wade. This bill's about something else. What this bill does is try to secure basic rights, equal rights, for babies that are born and are outside the womb. That's what we're talking about. Over the course of the next hour, as this is debated on the floor, people are going to say a whole bunch of other things. Please bring the text of the bill to the floor when you do it and show us where there's anything about limiting abortion in this bill. This bill is exclusively about protecting babies that have already been born and are outside the womb. Every baby deserves a fighting chance. Whether that 24-week-old baby fighting for air and fighting for life, having just taken her first breaths, is at an abortion clinic where she survived a botched abortion, or whether or not she's in a delivery room at the local hospital. Both of those babies are equally deserving of care, protection, and humane treatment, and our laws should treat both of these human beings as babies. Because they're babies, they've been born, and they're outside the womb. This really shouldn't be controversial, Madam President. In fact, my colleagues actually talk this way all the time. This place feels like about a third of the people here are currently running for president, so I'd like to just quote a few of them over the course of the last couple months. We ought to, quote, build a country where no one is forgotten and no one is left behind, close quote. Amen to that. Quote, the people in our society who are most often targeted by predators are also often the voiceless and the vulnerable. That's true. Another said, offered a promise to, quote, fight for other people's kids as hard as I fight for my own kids, close quote. And just last week, our colleague from Vermont announced his campaign by saying, quote, the mark of a great nation is how it treats its most vulnerable people, close quote. Bernie Sanders was right. Well, now's a chance tonight in this body to make good on that promise. Now's the chance to protect one of the most vulnerable populations imaginable, tiny, defenseless little babies who've just started to breathe on that hospital table, having just taken their first breath. Or was that all just claptrap for the campaign trail and for sound bites? Or do people mean the stuff that they say around here? Let's put it another way. Today's vote is about whether or not you want to take the side of people like Virginia's disgraced governor, Ralph Northam. Last month, before the news of his hideous yearbook broke, Governor Northam had made clear that a baby born alive during an abortion could and maybe ought to be killed if that's what the parents and the doctors decided they wanted to do after a debate. That was his position. He said you should make the baby comfortable, and then there could be a discussion about whether or not you throw that little baby into the trash can. That's what he actually talked about on the radio for a day and a half last month. Governor Northam is disgraceful for a whole host of reasons, but unlike some other people, he actually told the truth about what he wants. He wants a society where some people count more than others, and other people are worth less than others. He wants a society where some people can be pushed aside if they're inconvenient. In reality, that is what we're voting on today. Some of my colleagues want to write into our law a kind of permanent exception. Every human being should be treated and protected from cruelty, and protected from inhumane treatment unless they're a human being that came into the world through a botched abortion. Then you can decide later you want to kill them. Madam President, tonight, what we're going to vote on in the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act is a chance to see whether we're serious when people say around here that they want to protect the innocent. They want to speak up for the voiceless. They want to defend the defenseless. Tonight, we're going to have the opportunity to do exactly that. We can come to the aid of innocent, voiceless, defenseless little babies who've just taken their first breaths by protecting him and her from mistreatment and neglect. This should be, frankly, the easiest vote we ever cast in this body. But the prospect of what we're voting on here is actually threatening to one of the most powerful interest groups in America. The abortion industry has taken to attacking this bill wildly over the course of the last 2 weeks, even though, as we've made clear repeatedly, and as the text of this bill makes indisputably clear, this bill has nothing to do with abortion itself. Nothing in this bill changes the slightest letter of Roe v. Wade. Nothing touches abortion access in this bill. This bill is about living and breathing babies that are alive outside the womb. That's all the text of this bill does. But Planned Parenthood and NARAL and their allies feel threatened by a bill to protect alive, out-of-the-womb babies. In other words, unlike this legislation, Planned Parenthood and others refuse to draw any line between abortion and infanticide. That's what their lobbying the last week has shown. That should tell us something about what these groups are really about. What they're about is a society built on power. The power of some people to decide whether other people get to live or die. And this bill is a stumbling block to anyone who thinks that some lives are less valuable than others. This bill is a stumbling block to anyone who thinks that certain human beings should be disposable. This bill is a stumbling block to anyone who thinks that we should be able to quietly rid ourselves of little people who are inconvenient or supposedly unwanted. They're not unwanted. There are lots and lots and lots of people in every single state in this union lined up, waiting to adopt, including kids that have lots of hard life circumstances. In every state, there are waiting lists of people who will take so-called unwanted babies. America is a country built on a different principle. Ours is a country dedicated to the proposition that all men and women, all boys and girls, are created equal, even the littlest, even if they happen to come into the world in the most horrible of circumstances, even if they're crippled or inconvenient or apparently for a moment unwanted. Ours is a country that recognizes the fundamental, indistinguishable dignity of every human being, regardless of race or sex or creed or ability. As a country, we've struggled for 2 centuries, sometimes at enormous cost, to extend these basic human rights to more and more of our fellow citizens. Today's vote is simply an opportunity to continue that work. So let me say, Madam President, by way of closing, despite oppositions and setbacks, despite some strange rhetoric about this bill over the course of the last week, I'm hopeful in the long term. Deep down, each of us knows that every member of our human family ought to be protected and deserves to be cherished and loved. And the love we see every day in the eyes of moms and dads for their newborn babies is an inescapable reminder of that most fundamental truth: love is stronger than power. Thank you, Madam President.